Mr. Wallerstein, you have predicted some years ago that global capitalism will not survive the next 30 years. Explain why you have come to this prediction.
Well, first of all, you start with a couple of assumptions. All systems have lives. No system is eternal. And the reason all systems, and that goes from the universe as an entire system to the smallest subatom system. All systems have lives. And the reason all systems have lives is they all have internal contradictions, and over time they move far from equilibrium. And when they move far enough from equilibrium, they begin to oscillate enormously, and they have what the scientists of complexity call, in this chaotic situation, a bifurcation. And at that point, the system cannot survive, but where it will go is uncertain because there are two alternative possibilities. That's a general premise. Now, if you look at the capitalist system as a particular historical social system, then you see that there are certain phenomena which have led it to the point where it is moved far from equilibrium. Basically, capitalism is a system seeking the endless accumulation of capital. That's its only objective. It continuously attempts to do this. In order to attempt to do this, they have to create enterprises which obtain profit and therefore accumulate capital. If you look at the costs for a capitalist of any enterprise, he has three basic costs. One cost is the cost of personnel, paying the personnel from the top personnel to the bottom personnel. And the second basic cost of a capitalist is paying for the inputs that go into the production of whatever he's producing. And the third basic cost is taxation in all its forms, which is a phenomenon that is standard throughout the system. Now, if you look at the history, this will take a long time to account in detail, but if you look at the history of all three phenomena, the costs of personnel, the costs of inputs, and the cost of taxation, they have been steadily going up for 500 years. And if you at the same time realize that there is a limit to how much you can raise prices, which is the limit of the willingness of people to purchase items, then what you have is an increasing cost level going up for 500 years, reaching what I call asymptotes, at which point when it gets close enough to the top, the system begins to oscillate, and you get enormous constant shifts in what's going on. That's a chaotic situation, and that's where we are. I've written about this in great detail in various places, but basically the basic argument is that it is no longer possible for capitalists to really accumulate capital. And since that's the whole point of the system, to accumulate capital, the system no longer makes sense from the point of view of capitalists. Of course, it never made sense from the point of view of the populations of the world who were exploited and so forth. That's not new. That's a constant. And it isn't that the populations of the world are more upset than they've always been. They've always been upset, but what has really changed is the degree to which, for capitalists themselves, capitalism is a useful system. So that's the crisis, the structural crisis of the system in which we find ourselves today.